Right, I put a poll up in the group earlier this week and asked you what you'd like to have an educational video about. And the winner by a couple of votes was how to add muscle mass for that svelte superhero appearance. So this is what we're going to do now. It's going to be really quick. It's going to be really simple, which is the way I like to keep everything. Second place in the vote was mindset, which is interesting because this week I'm struggling with mine, like big time. Like I've said this a couple of times in the past, I'll probably say again in the future, but I'm having one of those fucking burn it to the ground weeks this week, and I'm resisting that. And the way I'm resisting it is by creating things instead. Great way to get yourself out of a funk is to help someone else. So hopefully this is my video helping you, which will help me to help me. Get that? That's fucking woo-woo shit, right? So here we go. How to add muscle mass. If you saw my video, if you saw my photo earlier on in the group, do they still call them photos? I guess they do. If you saw my photo earlier on in the group, it was quite cryptic, but it had 3 things. Lift heavy, lift a lot, lift often. That's how to get big. And whilst we're there, I'm just going to quickly throw something in a different colour. Hold on. Going to bang it in the middle here. Okay. So, you want to get big and muscular. You're a dude, you're over 30 years old, you're not a competition bodybuilder, you're not a fucking weightlifter, you're not an Olympic athlete or a sprinter, you're a guy with a busy job, maybe your own business, probably got a family, maybe kids, you haven't got a shitload of time. You need to know what to do and you need to know how to get it done as quickly as possible for the best possible results, the biggest gains, the best outcome. Well, that's really cool because that's exactly what I do in the gym. That's exactly how I train. I train for an hour and a half, 3 times a week. I could get it done in an hour, but me, Pete and Joe fuck around too much, so it takes us an hour and a half. But the work that I do, the training that I do, could get it done in an hour, no problem at all, and it keeps us big and strong and looking good, okay? Trust me. And this is how we do it. This is really simple. This is a simple part of my system. This is part of the system where I've got my big secrets of strength. It's one of my favorite parts of it because it is literally the most simple. It's lift heavy, lift a lot, lift often. What does lift heavy mean? Somewhere in the region of 70 to 90% of your 1 rep max is heavy. So you want to try and lift within that range most of the time. Lift a lot means lift high volume, high reps. We're going to get to that in a minute. Lift often means lift frequently. We're going to get to that in a minute as well. And I'm just going to break it down and make it really, really simple for you. And here we go. A couple of minutes, we're going to get it done. We're going to split this down into upper body, lower body, arms and shoulders. First thing, pick the right movements. You want 2 to 3 movements for your upper body maximum. We're talking 2 big push movements, 2 to 3 big push movements, 2 to 3 pull movements. A bench press, a dumbbell press, a push-up, a lat pull down or a pull-up, a TRX row, a dumbbell row. There you go, 3 movements for each. Maximum. I would go for 2. So 2 to 3 movements for the upper body. 1 to 2 movements for the lower body. A fucking squat and a deadlift. Or a squat and a kettlebell swing. Go no further than that. Arms and shoulders. I've got this right, but I've confused myself. Wait for a second. Okay. 2 to 3. 1 squat, 1 hinge. 5 to 6 total moves for the arms and shoulders. You might have some kind of raise up there. You might have some kind of overhead press in there. You can have a couple of curling movements and a couple of extension movements. That's all you need. So let me run through that again. 2 to 3 push and pull movements. a squat and a hinge for the lower body, 5 to 6 total moves for the arms and shoulders. That's all you need. That's your movements sorted. And you can keep those same selection of movements for 12 to 16 weeks. That's a long program with a lot of gains and a lot of results and a lot of added muscle mass. Big pecs, big arms. That's what you're going to have, okay? So we've got the split. We've got the number of movements. Now we're going to look at the volume. This, for muscle mass, is the absolute secret sauce. It's volume. Lift a lot. Lift many reps. Here we go. You can tell I'm a little bit edgy today, right? You want to start your program with 100 or more reps of each fucking movement. Let that sink in. 100 or more. You could do a 10 by 10 of your first big push and pull. A superset of 10 by 10, your first big push and pull. That's 100 movements each. For the second and or third movement, you could probably do a few less reps. But you're talking in the hundreds at the start of a program, tapering down in the number of reps that you do to probably something less than 40 per movement at the end of the program as you creep from a 70 to a 90% in terms of the amount of weight on the bar. Lower body, 10 to 30 reps maximum. I'd say around about 30 reps on your squat, 10 reps on your hinge. Unless you choose the kettlebell swing, then you can be looking at these numbers. But if you're choosing a deadlift, 10 heavy deadlifts is enough. Arms and shoulders, similar to this, but a little bit less. Because you've got to consider that the arms and shoulders are getting worked in all of these movements. Okay? How often do you train them? So lift heavy, lift a lot, lift often. How often? Upper body, 2 to 3 times a week. Lower body, 1 to 2 times a week. It's a lot heavier. Arms and shoulders, 1 to 2 times a week. Again, because you're addressing your arms and shoulders with all of these movements. So we're talking about getting things done in a certain amount of time here, especially if you only want to train for an hour and you only want to train 3 times a week, you can't be doing arms and shoulders every day. So once or twice a week, arms and shoulders, but that's going to all be backed up by the upper body work that you're doing. Okay, so the biggest part of your program is smashing the upper body and the lower body with your push and pull movements and your squat and your hinge movement. So to run through that again, it's lift heavy, which means 70 to 90% of your 1 rep max. Lift a lot, which means high volume. Okay, lifting heavy and lifting a lot and lifting often, 2 to 3 times a week for the upper body, 1 to 2 times a week for the lower body. That is it. Get your volume in, using enough weight with the same sensible movements over and over and over again. Bam! You're on the gain train. That is how you do it. Not much else to say on that subject. Feel free to throw your exercise selections in the comments below and I'll give you a yay or nay. A program that does this very, very well indeed is the Superset Mayhem program that Dan Stagg, John Barnett, Stephen Oliver and a few of the other guys are doing at the moment. By all means, jump on that. It follows these exact principles. Hope this was useful. I hope it answered the question of how to add muscle mass for that svelte superhero look. And here's to a better fucking week next week. Peace out, brothers.